Welcome to Fitness and Finance. I am your co-host, Tony Shore. This is Fitness and Finance Radio with our hosts, the lovely Jennifer Scherer and the amazing Jeff Smith. Jeff, the video podcast Smith. I love you, Jeff. You know that.
Yes.
Just want to yank those little chin hairs out of there. Anyway, you guys, it's great to be here on Fitness and Finance. An interesting topic. Weakness can be a strength if you identify it. Identifying your weaknesses is a strength. So I assume, since we're telling Jeff that identifying his weaknesses is a strength, we're going to get in a litany. Today's show is just Jeff reading off a list of his
of all my weaknesses. Yeah.
And then at about 25 minutes, I'm going to go, time's up. Jeff show's over, and maybe we'll do a part 2.
The things, we would have to. I think the weaknesses could fill a book for sure.
No, I'm teasing. I said I'll have to let you guys do all the talking because I don't have any. I'm not very strong, I guess. Because I've looked inside. I took a peek. I did some internal, soul searching, and I came up with nothing.
Goose egg.
Yeah,
huh? You're like
a nice tall glass of Jack Squat. Is what I've got for weaknesses. Yeah. You can take my weaknesses, put them together with a dollar bill, and go out and get yourself a nice tall glass of Jack. No, we'll talk about my weaknesses, and I don't know if I want to list them on the show pizza, but I have a few pizza. Yeah, I'm not gonna start naming them pizza, but I might have a problem pizza. What about you guys? Anything? Jeff, are you actually going to admit to a weakness on today's show? I think listeners and viewers would like to know.
I have so many. Are you kidding me? That's what this is about, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's identifying them. But before we do that, we got a couple of little news headlines.
News items for today.
News items, actually, particular for the podcast. Box 5 in DC listen to our podcast, and they're calling us in on the morning show.
Yeah,
and they're talking about some finance radio.
I know.
So cool.
Excellent.
We're very, very excited.
That's
Jennifer's
awesome.
Been on that show more than a handful of times, so they know her well. I've been with her, but not on the show. So it'll be neat to talk about this forum and how. And geez, we just got done with an interview about this that will run in Insurance and Financial News magazine in October. Will be featured as folks. So that was really cool.
I get Fox News wanting to have Jennifer on. That makes total sense. Nobody's surprised by that, but they're actually you're gonna be Jeff. They're letting you.
I know. I was like, are you sure?
What did she do? Tell them the only way they could get her is if they allowed you on as well.
Tony, that's how it went down. They're like, we don't want that guy. And Jennifer's like, I know, but we're a team.
Yeah, you guys are a team, but I think you're going to start getting more of that because, and I don't know why it hasn't been done more or before or more. I work out because what does your shirt say?
It says, I work out because my wife is hot.
That's awesome. I love that.
It may be a strength.
And no, Jennifer didn't buy him that shirt. He got that all by his onesie. Onesie.
I get tired of people just staring at her when we're walking down the street and as if I'm not there. So then I'm like, yeah, I get it. So I wore the shirt that says I work out so that they know that at least might be tough.
Yeah.
So then I work out.
Ooh, he works out. Oh, we better not mess with her or him.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because they're saying, well, we both agree that she's hot. So must be he works out.
The irony is she could kick their butts and yours. It's like she's the one that
boxing kick.
I've heard. You've told me.
Yep.
I have another.
She's got the moves like Jagger or Bruce Lee, one of the two.
A combination.
I've heard it both ways. But you guys, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, one more headline. Functional Food to Go is rocking and rolling. We're in business.
Yep.
Chef Jeff and registered dietitian, we've teamed up to create health condition friendly like for diabetes, chronic kidney disease, heart disease, that type
Well,
of thing.
that's me. I have all
where
those
we get
things.
we get their
I-
blood work, we put together a plan, then Jeff cooks,
Yes.
and they pick up their meals to go.
We had folks with 6 meals a week and folks with 18 meals a week. So 3 a day.
Yeah.
3 a day for 6 days a week. We take Sundays off, of course, but very exciting. We have first couple of customers, and we're very excited to start bringing that to the community.
That's
because,
amazing.
well, I think the thing is, right, is so many people work out, they're doing the work to work out, but they where they don't make the gains is because they don't want to cook, and they grab convenience food, and also they'll go out to eat. And so we want chef inspired meals, tasty, that feel like you're going out and not suffer in the health department. So we're very excited to bring that, and excited to see the results after 6 months in blood work.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's amazing.
Segue into like weakness, reframing weakness as more of a starting point. Because I have a lot of clients that I work with from a nutrition standpoint that have the education and the knowledge and the tools to be successful, but they're not actually taking the time to cook the foods that are going to help them, reap the benefits. And so that's where the functional food to go is going to be so important. Being able to offload that, since they know they're not going to follow through with the cooking.
Yeah, and all the work that they do to get, you do a lot of work, Jen, to help, bring the truth to what it is their situation calls for. And I think everybody can agree that once we understand what we need to do, there's always a decision point whether we're going to do it or not, right? And I think that's part of free will. And it's part of our choice. And so that's kind of a good segue into this conversation, because weakness, it is how you perceive it, right? So somebody's strength might be your weakness, and vice versa. So I think that we're all put on earth for various reasons, to help support each other, and to love one another, and to meet others where they are and help them. And I think I found that we kind of talked a little bit about it last week on the show about staying in your lane. But the reality is that if you don't know that you have a weakness, and a lot of people don't, because they don't want to know, or they just don't see it, then you can't do anything about it. So, taking inventory of what you're good at is so vital in finances and in fitness. And your overall health, and mental health is a big component of both of these things. If you're making good decisions, I know folks who, if they're not getting enough sleep, they start eating poorly, they make bad decisions financially. I mean, they're all interconnected. Everything is sort of interconnected in that way. But mentally and emotionally, identifying some weaknesses is super valuable. Jennifer, maybe you can speak a little bit to how people may identify those things.
Yeah, in the realm of health and wellness, I get a lot of clients, maybe in fitness, they just skip strength training because it might feel awkward, or they don't think they're doing it right. And they might get embarrassed, being in a gym setting, trying to just go do strength training. So, or another weakness would be like they start gung ho, strong on a Monday with full intentions to eat well and exercise, and then they lose all their momentum by Thursday, so a lot of clients will also come in with an injury, like they feel like they're, at a point where they can't exercise because they're too far gone with a particular injury. And maybe the idea of going into a gym and injuring yourself is overwhelming, and there's a level of fear involved with like further injuring themselves. So avoiding it is not solving the problem. So by identifying your weaknesses, you're able to start an action plan. And that's where Jeff and I think come in with both of our industries, is like, okay, so you're coming to us with this set of, injuries, or, poor diet habits in the past that have led to these conditions. What can we do? Small actions, like micro habits.
Right.
Even sleeping, like you mentioned. I mean, sleeping could be one of the first things that we address.
Well, if you think about it, right? So I was always embarrassed when I first started fitness. I was always embarrassed to be seen. I didn't want people to see the fat guy running around in the neighborhood or cycling. And, I felt judged because I judged myself so harshly. Right. So, I know the loneliness of that thought process. We had a 6-foot fence in the backyard, and I burned a trail around the outside of that because no one could see me there. And I was running laps and running laps. There's a hollowness. There's a feeling there that so I guess the idea here is, that happens in finance too. Shame and, all those things, you start to think about things that are your weaknesses, but, instead of saying, hey, geez, I want to solve this and find somebody that can help me out there. I think human nature is to hide it and pretend that everything's great. And I'm here to tell you that's not sustainable. Right. So, and if you are worried about coming to a fitness professional or a financial professional, an investment advisor or a financial planner, that's our job. You do not have to feel judged ever. Your situation is your situation. You wouldn't avoid going to a doctor, for an ailment that you had no control over, right? So you're not going to do that. Certainly, choices are choices, but at the end of the day, our job is to help you, not to shame you and not to make you feel bad. And until you get the education from somebody, a professional, or you go to school for it specifically, it's going to remain a weakness until you deal with it.
And brutal. I mean, I actually appreciate honesty in those situations, like brutal honesty, because I can at least look at the facts objectively and be honest in return.
Mhm.
Let's be real with one another here. There's no judgment. And the problem I think that occurs is our clients feel they're going to be judged in the arena because they're vulnerable areas. There's already a sensitivity around the topics of being in shape and financial health. So I think it might sound tough me saying that, but I promise it's not about beating yourself up. It's calling it what it is, facing it head on, and then being able to make those micro habits to help you get better.
You don't need to be a victim. You know what I mean? That's the thing. You don't have to, and I think the other way is that people will just blame everybody else for their tough choices. I've heard that an awful lot. And, the reality is that coming to grips and having an acceptance of who you are personally is all right, and not only all right, but it's pretty much a requirement, right? You have to be able to identify those things and say, geez, these are the areas, that I need the most help in. Let's go and get it.
And I remember saying to Jeff when I met with him for the very first time, like, I don't know the first thing about investments. Please educate me. And even beyond that, please make this easy on me. And I trust you to do the investing part for me with your plan that you're going to implement.
Right.
And that was a freeing feeling for me. I didn't have to feel the weight of having to do it on my own.
Yeah, if you work with a trusted financial professional who's a fiduciary who's going to look out for your best interests, like Jeff, we call it the SWAN Plan. He'll put a plan in place based on your goals, your needs, and it's SWAN is SWAN, sleep well at night. When you have that plan and a professional handling it for you, seriously, it helps you sleep better. You don't need to worry about it. It's off your plate. You've got a professional who that's what he does. And it's the same on the fitness side and the health side with you, Jennifer. You put a plan in place for people, and that enables them. Hey, I've got a plan. I'm working toward a goal. You're going to feel better, but it all leads back. It starts with getting enough sleep. You said that. It starts with identifying your weaknesses. And a lot of people say, well, I know my weaknesses. The problem is fixing them. Well, you're addressing that. What I like is you're addressing that by saying, don't blame others. Jeff, you brought that up. People deal with weaknesses by blaming everyone else or becoming the victim. You need to stand up for yourself. You've talked about that on other shows. I think this is fantastic. I really do. This is important.
Yeah, I think, the most, the strongest people are the ones who can identify those things and eliminate those. If you want to hear what my weaknesses are, I have more ideas than time. And then I start something, but not, I have to have a process to finish it. Right. So I like starting and I love the idea of ideas. I just dream of ideas all day long. And then it takes a tremendous amount of weight for me to move that thing through a full process. But someone much smarter than me said, if you have a problem, turn it into a process and it won't be a problem anymore. And so what I've learned from in my business is that I have, I went from a 3-step process to about a 32-step process. From the minute I meet someone to the one when we shake hands after everything's implemented. And so I know wherever that is, whatever step I'm in, I know exactly where I am, and they will too. And so one of the things that will help sort of take that tension or the fear away is knowing that there's a process and where you are in that process, right? So if you know that the tunnel is on the other end and you can see it because it's 4 steps away, I mean, it makes that stress level significantly decrease as to whatever it is that we're dealing with, right? So for a financial matter, it may be, geez, I can't live without this mortgage being paid off. I mean, there's people that come to me on a daily basis and are so consumed by the fear of debt, and they have a 2% mortgage rate still, and they're making 6 and 7% return. And I'm like, look, we need to be comfortable in this uncomfortable feeling for you. If you can't live in that peace that you're going to carry debt, let's build up some money to pay it off early and have the power to pay it off, but you don't necessarily have to. So there are all these decisions that that may be a weakness for somebody, maybe from childhood, and we talked about this before, debt was bad,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's important that we, walk through some of these things, walk through your thoughts, take inventory of your thoughts and write down the ones where you got fear. There's probably a weakness in there. If you have some fears, write them down. Don't hide them. And you don't have to share them with anybody right away. Whittle them down. And then find the areas that are consistently fearful for you. And then just say, geez, how can I address this? Even if it's social media, right? I mean, what if it's, you're fearful of the world crashing tomorrow? I mean, how could you not be? Every day is something new. But write those things down and say, geez, how can I change this negative into a positive? Or how can I handle this better? Or is there a professional that can help handle this for me or work with me on this?
Yeah. Denial, I think denial wastes more time than honesty ever will, keeping you stuck.
Dang. Can you say that again?
Wow. Say it again.
What was that again?
Denial wastes more time than honesty ever will.
Wow. The wisdom.
Confucius say.
More wisdom. And denial is more than just a river in Egypt. It's an oldie.
It is.
That deserves a groan.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will
Bad
Robinson.
dad joke. Bad dad joke warning. Hey, I want to interject here. This has been such a great conversation, but you know me, I'm looking for ways to derail it and take it down a notch. You bring it up to a level, and then I'm like, wait, they're getting too serious. I noticed something, Jennifer, that I've been wanting to address. What's the name of the new food service?
Functional Food to Go.
Okay. Functional Food, Fitness and Finance, and your health company there?
Fredericksburg Fitness.
Okay.
All FF.
Jennifer, this is just between Jennifer and I. The rest of talk amongst yourselves. There's more than the letter F in the alphabet. You can use other words. It doesn't have to start with the F. Jennifer only saw one episode of Sesame Street, and it was the letter by the letter. That episode was brought to you by the letter F.
Did Grover make an impact on you?
I need one of those buzzers for foul language, because you never know. Jennifer's got a lot of F words apparently.
Tons of F words.
Yeah, tons of them. Fitness and finance.
So many F words.
Did you do that on purpose? Was that conscious?
Yeah, in fact, Fredericksburg Fitness logo, when I first started the business in 2008, my dad designed it.
Yeah.
And there are two interlocking Fs.
Right.
They're like almost like they're, touching.
So you can use that logo for all the
Exactly.
entities. You guys need a hat. You need to unify the logo, modernize it.
We
And you
have
guys
one
need
of those.
hats and shirts. I mean, I know you've got a Fredericksburg
Oh.
Fitness, but
Yeah.
you need an FF hat that can stand for all. It doesn't even have to say, it just has the FF logo. And when
Yes.
people ask, depends on what role you're in.
Exactly.
Right. I love that.
Universal.
And I want one to wear. And then when people ask me, what's FF stand for? And I said, wouldn't you like to know? I don't swear out loud in front of kids.
No,
It's a family program.
one step further, our address here is 541, and that's our method.
Yep.
So we made
5-4
it FFO. We made the logo FFO.
Yep. And listen to this. Here's another thing that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Our main address is 541, but the second location is 2541.
Yeah.
And it's in a different
another
part
FF 5 and 4.
It's in a different
Fitness
part
and
of town.
finance.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts. You
Yeah.
guys are too much.
I
That's
know.
too much.
You can't even make this stuff up.
No. That's what's crazy.
I know.
When you've said the name of the food brand, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
They found a way. They found an actual way that you keep finding ways to use it.
Yeah. Well,
The alliteration is great, and that's
It
what
is.
you want in marketing.
Yeah.
But I think, I know you have the O, but I think you just need one that has just FF
like
because
that.
that's in everything, right?
And
I mean,
you've got one.
I do. I have a Fredericksburg Fitness hat and FF hat.
It just says FF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a client did come up with the
Yes,
functional food
Susan.
to go.
Yeah, I was training her at one day, and I thought, how can we pull this all together with this theme of FF? And it's a business. I was telling her what the business was going to be. Dietitian chef combo. Needs to be appropriate for multiple health conditions. All healthy food, and it's going to be to go. And she's like, well, to go needs to be highlighted.
yeah.
And we started coming up with different words. F for the first word in food, and then she said functional, and I was like, oh my gosh,
Functional is so good.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is this is a really good segue into our topic today, because I think the people that solve problems are the ones who are successful, right? And I think you have to first find a weakness in order for it to be something that you need to fix, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, there are enough people with higher than my pay grade that come up with some pretty incredible fixes for problems universally. So I mean, think about it from that perspective. If you were a corporation or you were you are a consumer, think about the areas that you need. Instead of looking at them necessarily as labeling them weaknesses, look at areas of need that you might have, and then solve it that way. If it's too painful to call it a weakness, right? And if it is, you might get some help with that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I love how you admitted, Jeff, that your weakness was you would come up with ideas or start something, and you're an idea guy, right? You're great at coming up with the idea, but seeing it through to fruition has been a problem. And I had to laugh because I would get a call a week from you or a message a week saying, I've got this great idea for a podcast, a great idea. And a lot of your ideas, when you'd say, Tony, I got this great idea for a podcast, I'd be like, man, that is a great idea. And then, they weren't all winners. There was one that had something to do with chickens and snowblowers. I thought, I don't know how you're going to make a whole podcast. I mean, maybe one episode. But yeah. I mean, when you started talking about chickens, I'm like, you lost me. But your other ideas are fantastic. It's just, focus. You lacked focus, and then you found focus, and her name is Jennifer, and I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's why I work out.
Yeah, because I love the shirt. And another weakness of yours, Jeff, if I could just keep pointing out Jeff's weaknesses on the show today, is it's fashion. Your fashion sense is a weakness in that you don't have any t-shirts with sleeves. But I'm so happy today. This may be the first time ever that we get to see Jeff in a t-shirt or a shirt period with sleeves.
That's true. Well, it's because it didn't come in in a muscle shirt. So
Oh, you'll eventually wait a couple of weeks, they'll be torn off.
Yeah. I know, it's like arm prisons. I don't know how you people wear
Arm
lungs.
bicep prisons. You got to get those guns out in the open.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guns
Yeah.
out, guns out.
Guns out.
Yep.
Well, obviously, it is serious, though. I mean, weaknesses can be crippling, and you've talked in past shows about how you don't want somebody that is going to try to keep you from fixing your weaknesses when you do try to address them. And now we're talking about the actual weaknesses themselves, and there is strength in it, like saying, hey, I'm really not good at this, or I shouldn't be doing this, but I do it. Let's figure out a way to tackle that. And I love what you said about a process, turn problems into a process and have a process.
Yeah. I think that's the key to everything is if it's a weakness for you, let's find a process through it, right? You can't just avoid it and sweep it under the rug. It'll just haunt you. And so dealing with it head on is saying, hey, what are the steps that I need to do each and every day to make this situation better? If that means hiring somebody else, if that means offloading it, kind of what we talked about last week, that's a strength. That can be a strength, right? If you say, I can let go of this because I'm not good at it, or it's an area of weakness for me, you've just turned something into a strength by a process. And I think one of the reasons I thought about the show was remembering before I went to Jennifer, I had gone to several different gyms. I had gone, to nutrition coaching, and they were all terrible. They just didn't work. And I felt, worse after going to those places. And so you feel alone and isolated. And then you're online and you are susceptible to all these, flashy things that sound good in the moment. But, the reality is that you need someone that is a legit professional who has a track record, who knows what they're doing, and interviewing those people, making sure that those are the right fits for you. Hiring somebody, also same thing, same process. You have to go through and interview people and make sure that they're the right fit for you.
Yeah, that's really good. Jennifer, I'm really good at, my weakness is interrupting people. That's one of my weaknesses, and I'm trying to do it as much as possible on today's show. And pizza, I'm addicted to pizza and caffeine, and I know I have a problem with those things. Jennifer, it's time for you to admit a weakness, and I'm going to throw one out here for you to make it easy. I'll give you one of Jennifer's weakness. Her irrational love of kale is a weakness. I mean, there's nothing rational about it. There's nothing that could possibly justify. I enjoy kale. Sure you do.
I have to say, I would say my biggest weakness is taking on too much. Yeah, not being.
Well, you took on Jeff. That's There's a physical illustration of that right in between us here.
It's like, the Everest of taking things on. Let's do this.
Wow, that's kind of hurtful, Jennifer, that you'd say that about Jeff.
Never. It's about all those F's.
You take on too much, like alliteration. You're going to run out of F words someday and offend someone, but we haven't gotten there yet.
I think that Jennifer internalizes a lot. I think she had to do a lot of stuff on her own. And so I think, one of the things that we've talked about is, sharing the load. Like
sharing is caring, Jennifer. Sharing is caring.
She's so strong that she just wants to do it herself and run with it and beat it into submission.
But what were you going to say though, Jennifer? I mean,
I think taking on too much and then being able to stop. I mean, I feel like I'm always thinking about business. Like I could be trying to relax in a yoga class and somehow something creeps in, so being able to have like that break where it's
downtime.
Like, okay, now it's time to relax. Like you don't have to always have that thinking brain turned on.
Yeah. And you're trying to do that and Jeff's not helping. Stand up, Jeff. Show the viewers your shirt. Yeah. Jeff's wearing a shirt like that. That's not helping you relax.
I'm stressed out just looking at that guy.
he actually makes me laugh all the time. And that
That's
does help.
good. That helps. Laughter helps.
It
Yep.
definitely
Reader's Digest said it best. Laughter is the best
is the
medicine.
best medicine. I agree.
Right?
with that. It is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
important. That's why we love this show so much.
Yeah,
We can
'cause
have
Tony
the best of
makes
both
us
worlds.
laugh all the time. He's comic relief.
I try. Just my face. That's enough. You could just turn. I can mute my mic, and it's just you guys are.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
Yes.
So I think we should close this
Yeah.
show by saying, like, you don't have to overhaul everything all at once.
Right.
Pick something small, like a micro habit that's doable, that to the point where your brain can't say no. And if it's, for me personally, dealing with the clientele I deal with, a lot of times it is inconsistency. So setting a micro habit of, I'm going to put on my workout clothes every time I get home from work and do 5 minutes of stretching. I mean, maybe that could start, something that turns into more. And if your weakness is self-confidence in the gym or in that type of setting where you feel like you're being judged, maybe you just walk into the gym and you pick one machine that you know how to do and you leave. I mean, maybe that's just a good habit to get into, something that small, because you keep showing up for yourself. It's not about perfection. It's about creating those actions that are repeatable. That will lead to,
Consistency.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So good.
Yeah.
A great show today. And before we go, Jennifer, let our listeners and viewers know on the fitness side and the health side how they can get a hold of you.
Yes. So visit our website at fbergfitness.com. That's FB as in boy, URG fitness.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, you'll find a link that says book discovery call, and you will be directly booked on my schedule.
And Jeff, on the
Yes.
finance side, people need to be getting a second opinion on where they're at. They
Mhm.
need to understand how current changes are going to affect their financial plans. I
Mhm.
know you can meet with folks. How can our listeners and viewers get a hold of you to talk
Yeah.
about how you could help them?
Well, I think next time we'll tackle some of the big, beautiful bill. And there's a lot of
Yeah.
things in there that we need to address. I
Yes.
think that are topical that may impact both sides of the fence here. And certainly from the financial end is going to. So we'll get into that. But until then, you can go to the website, theretirementsmith.com, go to the right-hand corner and click on the Meet Us tab. Fill out your information. We'll get back to you. Chris will send a Calendly link to you, and everything is no obligation and no cost at just to meet and go through your situation. Love to help you.
All right. Well, great show today. Thank you, Jeff and Jennifer. That does it for today's episode of Fitness and Finance Radio.